Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel Sparkle English, where I help you improve your English language skills. Today I'm going to talk to you about the first, second, and third person perspective. I'm going to teach you the difference between these perspectives or points of view and when we use them in English. This was a very difficult topic for me when I was younger. I always got confused about the first, second, and third person. They are ways of describing different points of view in English. We use different points of view to tell stories or give information in various ways. So, we use the first person when we want to share our own story or talk about ourselves. We use the second person to give advice or instructions directly to the reader. And we use the third person to talk about other people's actions or stories, like in news reports or most books. I want to give you examples of each, and then we'll go into more in-depth uses of each of these perspectives. So an example of writing in the first person would be, I had a nice day. The sun was shining and I went to the park. We know we're using the first person perspective because the pronoun I. I'm talking about my day and what I did. I'm sharing my story. An example of the second person, you need to stop eating sugar. You must exercise more often. Imagine this came from a self-help book. The narrator is talking to you directly, giving advice or instructions directly to the reader. We can see the pronouns you twice. An example of the third person point of view, they got married in the summer and they went to Greece for their honeymoon in the fall. You can see the pronouns they and their. Imagine this was an excerpt of a book. We're talking about other people and sharing their story from a point of view that's not our own. Let's go into more detail about each point of view or perspective. So the first person perspective is all about me. The first person perspective allows individuals to share their personal experiences and subjective opinions. What I think or what I say isn't necessarily the truth. This is my opinion and my experience. When writing in the first person perspective, we use pronouns such as I, me, we, us, our, and my. We, because that's someone else, and me. The first person perspective offers a personal point of view. So this is used often in autobiographies. Let's say a famous actor or actress wants to write their own autobiography about their life from their own perspective. We use it to write personal narratives, subjective essays, personal blogs, in memoirs. Sometimes we see the first person perspective in fictional novels as well. An author may choose to write their novel or short story in the first person perspective because it allows the reader to dive deep into the author's personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences. It makes you connect with the author and with the main character. Let's look at a few examples. Here's a paragraph example from an autobiography. I always loved animals growing up in my little hometown. Now, as a veterinarian, I get to care for them every day. It feels like a dream come true, helping my furry friends and remembering the joy they brought me as a child. You can see all of these pronouns, I, my, me. You can see that this author is talking about their own personal experiences from their own perspective. Here's an example of a personal blog. Today, I want to share a special recipe. It's a dish my grandma taught me to make when I was young. It's very simple but so tasty. Each time I make it, I feel my grandma's love and warmth in the kitchen with me. Again, this is the first person perspective. The author is talking about their story from their personal point of view. Another example, a short story. I moved to a small village to be a school teacher. The place is quiet, but there are many old stories that people whisper about. Soon, I became part of a big secret adventure, meeting magical creatures and protecting the village's old and beautiful stories. Here's an example of a fictional story written from the perspective of the author. When you're identifying if it's first person, second person, or third person, pay attention to the pronouns and to the context. Now let's go on to the second person perspective. Again, the second person perspective directly addresses the reader. You'll see pronouns such as you, your, and yours. The second person perspective is used in a variety of contexts, including instruction manuals, self-help books, advertisements, interactive fiction. When I was younger, I loved choose your own adventure books, emails or letters. Let's look at some examples. This is from a self-help book. Imagine walking through a peaceful forest. With each step, you feel more connected to nature, absorbing the tranquility and beauty surrounding you. Let this environment inspire you to find peace in your daily life. The author is using the second person perspective to directly address you as the reader. Here's an example with an instruction manual. First, ensure you have all the necessary components laid out. Next, carefully follow the step-by-step instructions, paying close attention to the details. This way, you'll assemble your furniture with ease and precision. You may also see imperative sentences or commands. Take out your screwdriver. Assemble the two large pieces together. With imperative sentences, we may not use the pronoun you, however, it is implied. Here's another example with interactive fiction. As you enter the grand mysterious mansion, you can feel the history pulsating through the walls. You are about to unravel the secrets that lie within, making choices that will carve your path in this unfolding adventure. You may also see the second person perspective in video games because the narrator is talking directly to you. Now let's go on to the third person perspective. So the third person perspective provides an outsider's view, presenting a more detached and objective approach to narrating events. This perspective uses pronouns such as he, she, it, and they. So we use this perspective to talk about other people's actions or stories. This is often used in news reports, research papers, academic articles, historical narratives, biographies, and most fictional novels. So if Sean Connery wanted to write about his life, he would write an autobiography in the first person perspective. But if someone else wanted to write about him, they would write a biography in the third person perspective. Let's look at some examples. Here's a biography example. Dr. Williams was known for his unyielding spirit and determination. Throughout his life, he embraced challenges with open arms, inspiring those around him. His legacy will inspire generations to come. We see pronouns his, he, him. We're talking about Dr. Williams. Here's an example in a fictional novel. In the golden hue of the afternoon, the maiden wandered through the mystical forest, her heart yearning for adventure. As she ventured further, she encountered a group of beings from another realm, igniting a series of events that would change her life forever. We're talking about the maiden and her adventure from a third-person perspective. This is not our experience. This is her experience. Here's an example of a news report. Yesterday, the mayor unveiled a new community garden in the heart of the city. Locals gathered and they were eager to witness the inauguration. The project aims to foster community bonding and environmental awareness. Here we are objectively reporting about the events from the third person perspective. So now let's do a quiz. You must identify the point of view of the narrator for each exercise. Pay attention to the pronouns and to the context. Number 1, I marveled at the magnificent sunset, its hues painting my soul with a tranquil glow. My grandma used to love watching them with my grandpa when they were courting. Number 2, you feel a rush of excitement as you open the mysterious age-old book, revealing secrets untold. Number 3, it wasn't an easy life. My parents worked long hours, and I spent a lot of time home alone. My friends had siblings, but I was all alone. Number 4, in today's press conference, Mayor Anderson highlighted the achievements of the Community Task Force. And finally, number 5, Emily wandered through the garden, where each flower told a story of resilience and beauty. Okay, so number 1 has been written from the first person point of view. I marveled at the sunset. My soul. The author is talking about their grandma and their grandpa, but from their perspective. Number 2 has been written from the second person perspective. You feel a rush of excitement as you open the book. The author is addressing you directly as the reader. This might be an interactive piece of fiction. Number 3 has been written from the first person point of view. My parents. I spent a lot of time alone. I was all alone. This might be a short story or a personal memoir. The author is writing from their perspective. Number 4 has been written from the third person perspective. This is a report about Mayor Anderson. And finally, number 5 has also been written from the third person perspective. And in number 4 and number 5, there are no other pronouns or sentences that would indicate that the author is using the first or second point of view. So let me know in the comment section how many you got correct out of 5. And if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comments section of this video. If you liked this video and would like more lessons related to English writing or English literature, also let me know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next lesson.